Read Leviticus chapter 11. And the Lord spake unto Moses and to Aaron, saying unto them, Speak unto the children of Israel, saying, These are the beasts which ye shall eat among all the beasts that are on the earth. Whosoever parteth the hoof, and is cloven-footed, and cheweth the cud among the beasts, that shall ye eat. Nevertheless, these shall ye not eat of them that chew the cud, or of them that divide the hoof, as the camel, because he cheweth the cud, but divideth not the hoof, he is unclean unto you. And the coney, because he cheweth the cud, but divideth not the hoof, he is unclean unto you. And the hare, because he cheweth the cud, but divideth not the hoof, he is unclean to you. So, here's a hoof. You see? I'll read this over again. From verse 3. Whosoever parteth the hoof, and is cloven-footed, and cheweth the cud among the beasts, that shall ye eat. Let's reread verse 3 again. Whatsoever parteth the hoof, see? And is cloven-footed, and cheweth the cud among the beasts, which means that they chew what they threw up among the beasts, that shall ye eat. You see this, the hoof. If it is divided, you can eat it, except for a pig, I'll get into that. I'll reread verse 3. Whatsoever parteth the hoof, and is cloven-footed, and cheweth the cud among the beasts, that shall ye eat. Nevertheless, these shall ye not eat of them that chew the cud, or of them that divide the hoof, as the camel, because he cheweth the cud, but divideth not the hoof. Because the camel doesn't have this, he has this. See? It's not divided. And the coney, because he cheweth the cud, but divideth not the hoof, he is unclean to you. He divideth not the hoof. It's not divided. And the hare, because he cheweth the cud, but divideth not the hoof, he's unclean to you, which means he doesn't have the divide like this. And the swine, though he divide the hoof, and be cloven-footed, yet he cheweth not the cud, he is unclean to you. And this even goes further into the Bible about the swine, which I'll talk about later on. Let's continue, verse 8. Of their flesh shall ye not eat, and their carcass shall ye not touch. They are unclean to you. The pig is basically the worst thing that you could eat and even touch. Let's continue, verse 9. These shall ye eat of all that are in the waters, whatsoever hath fins and scales in the waters, in the seas, and in the rivers, them shall ye eat, which includes salmon, anything that has fins or scales, fins and scales, excuse me. Let's continue. Verse 10. And all that have not fins and scales in the seas and in the rivers, of all that move in the waters, and any living thing which is in the waters, they shall be an abomination unto you. Which means like shrimp, clams, octopus. They're an abomination unto you, which means they're bad for your body. Let's keep going. Verse 11. They shall be even an abomination unto you. Ye shall not eat of their flesh, but ye shall have their carcasses in abomination. Whatsoever hath no fins nor scales in the waters, that shall be an abomination unto you, which means it's bad for your body. And these are they which they shall have an abomination among the fowls. They shall not be eaten. They are an abomination. The eagle and the ossifrage and the osprey and the vulture and the kite after its kind. You see, vultures eat carcasses and bad stuff like that. Let's keep going. Verse 15. Every raven after his kind, and the owl, and the night hawk, and the cuckoo, and the hawk after his kind, and the little owl, and the cormorant, and the great owl, and the swan, and the pelican, and the great eagle, and the stork, and the heron after her kind, and the lapwing, and the bat. All fowls that creep, going upon all four, shall be an abomination unto you, which means it's bad for your body. And I think, I'm not sure, but I think they're talking about fowl with, or birds with webbed feet. But I'm not sure. I'm not really sure. Don't quote me on it yet. Let's keep going. Verse 21. Yet these may ye eat of every flying creeping thing that goeth upon all four, which have legs above their feet, to leap withal upon the earth. Even these of them ye may eat: the locust after his kind, and the bald locust after his kind, and the beetle after his kind, and the grasshopper after his kind. But all other flying creeping things which have 4 feet shall be an abomination unto you, which means it's bad for your body. You don't want to eat flies, because flies eat carcasses, poop, whatever, Let's keep going. Verse 24. And for these ye shall be unclean. Whosoever toucheth the carcass of them shall be unclean until the even. And whosoever beareth, let's reread verse 24. And for these ye shall be unclean. And for these ye shall be unclean. Whosoever toucheth the carcass of them shall be unclean until the even. And whosoever beareth aught of the carcass of them shall wash his clothes and be unclean until the even. It's common sense. You don't want to touch a dead body of any living thing, because I think it has like anthrax or something. I think that's where anthrax comes from, but I'm not sure. has a whole bunch of diseases. But let's keep going. Verse 26. The carcasses of every beast which divideth the hoof, and is not cloven-footed, nor cheweth the cud, are unclean unto you. Every one that toucheth them shall be unclean. Let's keep going. Verse 27. And whatsoever goeth upon his paws among all manner of beasts that go on all four, those are unclean unto you. Whoso toucheth their carcass shall be unclean until the even. Wonder if they're talking about bears. Huh. Bears are my favorite animal. Let's keep going. Verse 28. And he that beareth the carcass of them shall wash his clothes and be unclean until the even. They are unclean unto you. Verse 29. These shall be unclean unto you among the creeping things that creep upon the earth. The weasel and the mouse and the tortoise after his kind, and the ferret and the chameleon and the lizard and the snail and the mole. These are unclean to you among all that creep. Whosoever doth touch them when they be dead shall be unclean until the even. Yeah, if my shirt touches like a dead carcass of any living thing for that matter, I would, and I got blood on it and guts and whatever. Of course, I want to wash it. It's common sense. Let's keep going. Verse 32. And upon whatsoever any of them, when they are dead, doth fall, it shall be unclean, whether it be any whether it be any vessel of blood, or raiment of skin, or sack, whatsoever vessel it be, wherein any work is done, it must be put into water, and it shall be unclean until the even, so it shall be cleansed. And upon whatsoever any of them, when they are dead, doth fall, it shall be unclean, whether it be any vessel of blood, or raiment, or skin, or sack, whatsoever vessel it be, wherein any work is done, it must be put into water, and it shall be unclean until the even, so it shall be cleansed. When they say the even, I wonder if they mean evening. I don't know. But it shall be put into the water anyway, so it can be cleansed. The vessels of the vessels that you take out of the meat, you see vessels every now and then when you take meat apart. They should be put into the water. Let's keep going. Verse 33. And every earthen vessel wherein to any of them falleth whatsoever is in it shall be unclean, and ye shall break it. Of all meat which may be eaten, that on which such water cometh shall be unclean. And all drink that may be drunk in every such vessel shall be unclean. And everything whereupon any part of their carcass falleth shall be unclean, whether it be oven. Let's reread verse 35. And everything whereupon any part of their carcass falleth shall be unclean, whether it be oven or ranges for pots, they shall be broken down, for they are unclean, and shall be unclean unto you. Nevertheless, a fountain or pit wherein there is plenty of water shall be clean, but that which toucheth their carcass shall be unclean. Of course, you're going to get sick if there's a well and there's dead rats in it, Let's keep going. Verse 37. And if any part of their carcass fall upon any sowing seed which is to be sown, it shall be clean. But if any water be put upon the seed, and any part of their carcass fall thereon, it shall be unclean to you. And if any beast of which ye may eat die, he that toucheth the carcass thereof shall be unclean until the even. And he that eateth of the carcass of it shall wash his clothes, and be unclean until the even. He also that beareth the carcass of it shall wash his clothes, and be unclean until the even. And every creeping thing that creepeth upon the earth shall be an abomination, it shall not be eaten. Whatsoever goeth upon the belly, and whatsoever goeth upon all four, or whatsoever hath more feet among all creeping things that creep upon the earth, them ye shall not eat, for they are an abomination. Ye shall not make yourselves abominable with any creeping thing that creepeth, neither shall ye make yourselves unclean with them, that ye should be defiled thereby. For I am the Lord your God. Ye shall therefore sanctify yourselves, and ye shall be holy, for I am holy. Neither shall ye defile yourselves with any manner of creeping thing that creepeth upon the earth. For I am the Lord that bringeth you up out of the land of Egypt to be your God. Ye shall therefore be holy, for I am holy. This is the law of the beast, and of the fowl, and of every living creature that moveth in the waters, and of every creature that creepeth upon the earth, to make a difference between the unclean and the clean, and between the beast that may be eaten and the beast that may not be eaten. Alright, so even though, of course you wanna be clean when you go up to the stand before God, when you're going to get judged. Of course you want to be clean. You want to be as sin-free as possible. Even if it's like, even if you eat like, even if you eat bacon, a lot of people eat bacon, but you want to be as clean as you possibly can. You want to be clean before you go up to the Lord. I don't think eating bacon will have you condemned, but who am I to say that? Only God can say you will be condemned for eating bacon. But bacon is pretty unclean though. You can die really early from eating bacon, because bacon has fat and all kinds of stuff. You can get high cholesterol, high sodium levels, all kinds of bad stuff for you. It's just not good. But you want to be clean. You want to be really clean before you come up and get judged. Thank you very much. Thank you for chiming in, and have a good night. It's 10:41 Sunday night. 10:41 Sunday night. Thank you very much for chiming in. Have a good night.